All right, buckle up because things just got real messy with Trump's latest move. He's slapping a jaw-dropping 104% tariff on Chinese goods.
And the president also wanted me to tell all of you that if China reaches out to make a deal, he'll be incredibly gracious, but he's going to do what's best for the American people.
So China has to call first?
The Chinese want to make a deal. They just don't know how to do it, but the president will be implementing these 104% tariffs on China.
Caroline Leavitt, his spokesperson, stepped up to say Trump's ready to play nice. If China calls first with the deal, promising he'll be incredibly gracious while still doing what's best for Americans. Sounds good, right? Except the second this news dropped. The market freaked out, losing trillions of dollars in just hours. Nobody saw this train wreck coming, and now the whole U.S. economy's shaking, like it's on a roller coaster with no brakes. But here's where it gets wilder. Not everyone in Trump's crew is on the same page. Elon Musk, the big tech guy, is out there trashing these tariffs, saying they're a terrible idea. Meanwhile, Peter Navarro, Trump's trade advisor, is all in, pushing this strategy. Like it's the golden ticket. They're going at it like cats and dogs. And what does Leavitt say about this public showdown? Boys will be boys. Yeah, you heard that right. She's brushing it off like it's just locker room banter. People are losing their minds over the economy tanking, and the White House is over here, acting like it's no big deal. They're calling it the most transparent administration ever. But it feels more like they're too busy arguing to notice the country's in freefall. This is just the start, and it's already a total chaos fest. So while the tariff chaos is lighting up the economy, like a dumpster fire, Trump's team decided to stir the pot even more. With some seriously wild deportation plans, Caroline Leavitt stepped up again, defending this idea of shipping people off to El Salvador. And get this, she's even cool with deporting U.S. citizens under something called the Alien Enemies Act. She's all confident, saying every single person they've sent packing qualifies, and they're sticking to the law with habeas petitions or whatever. But here's the thing. Experts and regular folks are losing it over this, because it's straight up against legal standards. People are like, wait, you're kicking out citizens now? What's freaking everyone out is how Trump's crew is treating immigrants, and even some Americans, like their public enemy number one. Instead of tackling problems with a level head, they're just pointing fingers and calling people enemies of our state, which is some next-level drama. It's not just splitting hairs over policy anymore. It's splitting the whole country right down the middle. The vibe's getting uglier by the day, with folks arguing louder and trust in the government tanking fast. This isn't about fixing anything. It's about tossing fuel on an already raging social mess. And people are starting to wonder if the White House even knows what they're doing anymore. Okay, so while the deportation drama's tearing folks apart, the real kicker is how these tariffs are slamming everyday Americans right in the wallet. Those 104% tariffs on Chinese goods, they're jacking up the price of everything you'd find at the store. From clothes to gadgets to stuff you need for your health. Supermarket runs are starting to feel like a luxury, and families are stuck, watching their budgets stretch thinner than ever. Incomes aren't budging, but the cost of living's shooting through the roof, leaving people wondering how they're supposed to keep up. It's a brutal reality check, and it's hitting hard. Then there's the market, which is basically screaming for help. The Dow Jones took a nosedive, dropping over 1,200 points, and JP Morgan's now saying there's a 60% chance we're headed straight into a recession. Wall Street's a mess, and even Fox News, who used to cheer Trump on like he was their MVP, is calling it a poorly executed disaster. That's a big flip, and it's got people talking. All this chaos isn't just numbers on a screen. It's real life for millions who thought this was supposed to make things better. Instead, it's like the whole economy's unraveling, and regular folks are the ones picking up the tab, while the White House keeps playing its own game. So while regular folks are getting crushed by these price hikes, Trump decided to roll out his big Liberation Day plan, and oh boy, it's been a total flop. He hyped up these tariffs as the ultimate fix to bring manufacturing back to the U.S., like some patriotic win for the history books. But instead of popping champagne, Wall Street basically hit the panic button. The Nasdaq tanked 4.5%, the S&P 500 dropped over 3%, and Thursday turned into the ugliest market day since the 2020 crash. JP Morgan's even warning these policies, if sustained, would likely push the U.S. or possibly global economy into recession. That's not liberation, that's a straight-up disaster, leaving investors stranded. And it's not just the U.S. feeling the heat, the rest of the world's fed up too. The European Union is fuming over this trade war mess, especially with their car and consumer goods industries taking a hit. The German chancellor's calling emergency meetings to figure out how to deal with Trump's moves. And Canada's not having it either. They're yelling about the heavy tariffs on their stuff, promising to fight back hard. One day, Trump's acting like everyone's best buddy. The next, he's turning the U.S. into the guy nobody wants at the party. Even Fox News is hinting the economy's gone from golden to game of. Thrones-level chaos, and that's saying something. All right, so while the world's turning its back on Trump's trade war, things are getting even uglier at home, with jobs taking a serious hit. These tariffs were supposed to protect American workers, but they're doing the exact opposite. Take BMW, they're straight up warning they might shut down their South Carolina plant because importing parts from Germany's gotten way too pricey thanks to those taxes. Companies aren't hiring, they're slashing jobs, left and right as production costs skyrocket. It's a gut punch to the very people Trump swore he'd lift up, and now folks are staring at layoffs instead of paychecks. What's wilder is the pushback coming from his own crew. The anti-free trade conservatives who used to see Trump as their guy are throwing up their hands, saying they still hate globalism but can't back this mess of a plan. Then there's the market, holy cow. It lost over $10 trillion in just 2 days after Liberation Day hit. Even Bitcoin, which Trump fans loved, crashed hard, dropping from $69,000 to under $25,000, an insane 64% plunge. People who bought into this vision are feeling totally burned, and the vibe's shifting fast. This isn't just about some fancy Wall Street numbers anymore. It's real folks losing their livelihoods. And the cracks in Trump's support are starting to show big time. So while jobs are vanishing and Trump's old fans are jumping ship, the guys out there acting like nothing's wrong, and it's seriously ticking people off. Picture this. The U.S. is getting hammered by deadly storms that killed 18 folks. 4 U.S. soldiers just died in Lithuania, and what's Trump doing? Posting golf pics from Mar-a-Lago like it's all good. He even admitted he doesn't care about the suffering, which is cold even for him. Meanwhile, the market's a disaster. $6 trillion of retirement savings just went poof, and families are freaking out about how they'll ever retire now. That's when the streets started heating up. People aren't just grumbling anymore. They're full-on protesting, and it's growing every day. From big cities to small towns, they're mad about the economy, tanking, and a government that's basically checked out. Trump's policies are shoving society right to the edge, and folks are losing faith fast. He's still acting like it's no big deal, but the pressure's piling on his team to fix this mess before it spirals way out of control. These aren't just random rallies. They're a loud wake-up call that people are done waiting for promises that never show up. And it's starting to feel like the whole country's on the brink of something huge. Okay, so while protests are blowing up at home, the rest of the world's basically done with Trump's antics, and it's putting the U.S. in a real tight spot. Canada's Prime Minister Mark Carney isn't messing around. He's out there, saying we will win this trade war like it's a hockey game. They're not about to lose. The European Union's on the same page, slamming Trump's tariffs and demanding the U.S. pay up for this mess. They're not just mad. They're already hunting for new trade buddies, leaving America out in the cold. One minute Trump's calling these countries pals. The next, he's got them ready to ditch the U.S. for good. Back home, the financial hit's even crazier. $6.4 trillion vanished from the market in just 3 days, and people are hitting the streets from Chicago to New York, yelling about more than just tariffs now. They're fed up with a government that's ignoring them. And it's not just noise. It's a legit threat to Trump's whole gig. These crowds aren't slowing down. They're spreading worldwide. And it's looking like a political earthquake could shake him right out of the White House. The U.S. is turning into that friend nobody wants to deal with. And if Trump doesn't switch gears fast, this isolation could lock in for real, leaving the country on its own while everyone else moves on. So while the U.S. is getting ghosted by the world, Trump's own squad is starting to bail. And it's looking like a rough ending for him. He's still out there bragging about winning, not just at golf. But in this trade war, even as the Dow Jones and S&P 500 tanked over 10% in 3 days, wiping out $6.4 trillion. Big names like Elon Musk and Bill Amann, who used to have his back, are done. Musk's pushing for free trade with the EU, and Amann's warning of an economic winter that'll trash everything. Even MAGA fans and conservative investors are salty, saying they didn't sign up to lose their savings and jobs. The vibe's grim. Goldman Sachs bumped recession odds to 45%, and folks are losing homes, 401ks, everything they worked for, while Trump's chilling at Mar-a-Lago, mocking it all with lines like, "The American people need to accept the bitter pill I'm giving them." Protests are raging, businesses are going bust, and history's already sharpening its pen. This isn't just a bad stretch. It's a full-on crisis Trump's cooked up, splitting society and tanking the economy. People won't forget this mess, and when the dust settles, his legacy's gonna be a cautionary tale of what happens when you ignore the fallout. The Republican Party's wobbling, and the whole U.S. could feel this sting for years.